Despite being well known in the RPG field, Square Enix have never really branched out into the farming world. So, naturally, when I heard they were bringing out a farming sim, I was intrigued. What could they add to the genre, and does it hold a candle to the similar Rune Factory series? Hi, I'm Rowan, and here's my review of the Harvestella demo. The demo itself lasts for either 15 in-game days or until the end of Chapter 2. I personally aimed for the Chapter 2 ending, which took me about 3 hours to complete. I only got to day 9 though, so you might actually spend longer playing it, so long as you don't accidentally complete the storyline before you finish. If you do complete the storyline, it will kick you back to the menu screen and you'll have to go back to your last autosave. But let's look at the game itself. First of all, the combat. I'm going to be honest, it was disappointing. It's very simplified. To give you an idea of how simplified, in the entire 3 hours I was playing, I never found the dodge button. Which is unfortunate, because during the boss fights, there is very little you can do to avoid being hit. It does turn into a quick beat them up before they hit you type deal, which doesn't inspire very much strategizing at all. On the bright side, I did like the look of the jobs in this game. I personally unlocked a total of 2 jobs in my playthrough, Warrior and Mage. There might be more, I don't know. Both were very different styles of fighting and came with their own skill progression trees. Maybe the dodge skill is a future unlock of either one of these jobs or a different job, I don't know. Now for the farming aspect. I'll say straight off, I loved the controls. Being able to essentially dual wield farming tools and seeds was fantastic, and the seed names were also quirky and interesting. Unfortunately, that's all it's got going for it. In other farming sims, there's a bit more to do than just farm crops. For example, you have to constantly pick up debris off the field. You might personally find this time consuming and annoying, but it does make you feel like you're running an actual farm. Sure, Harvestella has some rocks you can remove, but none of the tools barely deplete the stamina that much, so there's really no penalty for choosing to clear the rocks or not, since you can definitely plant some seeds around the rocks and still have enough income to do pretty much anything early game that you want, especially if you're going off to fight things and collect things in the combat areas. So there's really not that much strategy to the farming either. In fact, the only thing I found really driving the day forward is the time crunch. Since the demo is only 15 days long, you have to really choose carefully what it is you want to do. 15 days sounds like a lot until you realise that every step you take in the world map takes up to 10 minutes. Unfortunately, this is a bit of a moot point. The full release isn't likely to have a similar time crunch. You're not going to need to finish the game in a set time period, unless the story adds a timer mode, which I don't see happening. So anyway, farming and combat, Harvestella doesn't really do either well. It does have crafting and cooking, and both features also use the time function. So for example, it takes however many minutes to create something, so long as you have the necessary ingredients. It's very simple compared to Rune Factory's level system, but I really didn't see much of the crafting function in Harvestella, so I really can't say for sure if it's good or not. The areas you can explore in Harvestella are very nice, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not looking to get into a graphical debate over what the Switch can comfortably run and what looks good, but the settings definitely have that fantasy-esque vibe that Square Enix is so good at. The areas look very autumnal. I was hoping this would mean you could plant autumn crops out of season, as you can in Rune Factory, but it doesn't seem like there's any farming areas in the combat zones, and you can't equip farming tools in the zones anyways. It would be interesting to see if it makes a difference to the fish you can catch. For example, you'll only be able to catch autumn fish in Higan Canyon, but again, the demo really isn't long enough to be able to say for sure. On the subject of fishing, it actually took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out how it worked. You can buy a fishing knowledge for 800 gilla from the general store, which is perfectly achievable in the demo. I bought it myself and then immediately started looking around for ways to either buy or craft a fishing rod. Except I apparently already had one. It's not treated as a tool, so it doesn't show up in your inventory, and the game doesn't actually tell you that you can start fishing as soon as you get the knowledge. but once you work out how to fish and you're at a fishing point, it's a fairly standard fishing feature. Throw the line, wait, press the button, get a fish. Sure, it's not as advanced as Stardew Valley, but at least you can fish. Overall, Harvestella is an enjoyable game, and it's a fun little time sink, but I'm struggling to be able to recommend this game, which is a shame because it's not bad. It just doesn't really do anything it sets out to do that other games don't do better. Both the combat and the farming are very lackluster. The only thing I really enjoyed was the storyline. Yes, even with the cliche of the amnesiac protagonist. But even then, the end of chapter 2 ends on such a non-cliffhanger, and it was such a definitive this is the end of that story arc, I don't really feel compelled to pick the game up as soon as it comes out. After all, my wallet only goes so far, and there are definitely other games that are higher on my wishlist. Let me know what you thought of the demo down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!